Perhaps one of the most unusual cities in Europe is Brussels. I have been to Brussels many times, though at first this city seemed completely ordinary, European and boring to me, but the more I visited, the more I liked it, and it, so to speak, revealed itself to me. Today I want to talk about things that seemed quite interesting and unusual to me. In Brussels I noticed one strange thing. On old houses, for the most part, the door handles are in the middle. And there is an interesting story behind this.
Door handles in the middle are one of those strange little details of Brussels and old Europe that almost all visitors notice. Today one can only speculate about the original purpose of such an unusual placement of handles on entrance doors. This feature dates back to the 19th century when servants would open the doors, so that the servant would not reach out right in front of the master's nose and block his way. He could delicately, standing to the side, open the doors for him. The central handle also added visual balance, especially in the narrow Brussels houses, where the door is often a key element of the facade. In the old quarters of Brussels, this tradition is preserved as part of the style. Perhaps the first thing that will catch your eye when you arrive on the streets of Brussels is the rainbow crosswalks. A total of 16 crosswalks were painted in rainbow colors on the streets of Brussels at a total cost of about 65,000 euros. That is, the average cost of such a crosswalk is approximately 4,060 euros. These crossings are updated and repainted once a year. The most famous one is the crossing between the Belgian Parliament and Brussels Park. It was painted in rainbow colors in the year 2021, and it was an initiative of the Parliament, the Senate, and the city of Brussels. All these pedestrian crossings serve as a symbol of support for sexual minorities and the idea that such people are accepted in Brussels. In the old part of the city, you will see houses situated closely together, even where it seems there should be one large continuous house. They are all completely different, both in numbers and in appearance. The historical reason for this is dense urban development. In the 19th century and earlier, as in other European cities, land in the city center was expensive. Therefore, houses were built close to each other, often on narrow plots. Such houses had a narrow facade but a deep inner courtyard. Each building was constructed for its own owner, with a separate entrance, separate rooms, and often with a through layout. As a result, the street looks like a jagged gallery, where each house has its own character.
In many old houses, you can find these long, tall corridors. I could not understand what they were for and why they were made. It turned out to be nothing other than a passage for parking carriages. In old times, carriages with horses would enter, pass through, and park inside the courtyard of the house.
The courtyard was used for parking, storing firewood and cargo. Today, in many such courtyards, you will see everything imaginable. Small picnic areas, mini gardens, pools, terraces for relaxation. They occupy every corner of the space, sometimes hiding in secret places. These inner courtyards are an amazing mix of antiquity and modern solutions that will definitely catch your attention. Of course, everyone has heard of the famous Manneken Pis. It's not just a fountain, but a true symbol of Brussels. He has more than 1,000 costumes, from Santa to samurai, and he is regularly dressed up with an orchestra. But not everyone knows about the two other P. Symbols. The peeing boy has a girlfriend, Manneken, and also a dog, a bronze sculpture of a dog relieving itself on one of the streets of Brussels. I encountered one of the most unusual churches. Right inside the church, there are swings, a table with pencils, and by the altar, a strange cross. At first glance, everything seems almost absurd. Baroque interior of the 17th century, marble altars, statues of saints, and nearby swings where you can swing. But all of this has its own logic. The church aims to be open and family-friendly, creating a cozy space where parents can pray peacefully. Of course, many have heard about Belgian waffles and French fries. Did you know that Brussels locals don't eat waffles like tourists? They don't choose the famous Belgian waffles, large, airy, rectangular with fruit, chocolate or whipped cream, but opt for the more modest Liege waffles and eat them as they are. But they are already sweet on their own due to the sugar in the dough. And how can we forget about fries, which are also a symbol of Belgium? Real Belgian fries are fried twice at a temperature of about 150 degrees so that the potato cooks inside, and then at 180 to get a golden crispy crust. And between the two fryings, the potatoes are cooled and cooked in beef or lamb fat, not in vegetable oil. This is the main secret of the Belgian taste. And finally, about the beauty of spring, the period that Brussels residents call the honeymoon of spring. It begins at the end of March or the beginning of April. People take out cameras, phones and go for walks, organizing sakura walks. The peak of blooming lasts only about 1 to 2 weeks. This is a time of pink splendor. Even in the rain or under a cloudy sky, the blossoms look magical. The pink and white colors against the gray buildings and streets create a surreal atmosphere, wishing everyone successful travels and new discoveries.